Good morning everyone, Wicked Gadding Guy here. It's that time of year. My winter hat is on, there's frost on the ground, leaves are falling or have fallen, and it is time to winterize those sprinklers. So before I get into that, do me a favor, click that like button, click that subscribe button, and it'll just help the channel, and there's a lot more content to come. I do have some more videos to come even though we're closing in on winter, and then we'll get right back to it in the spring, hopefully have some over the winter as well. But what we're going to talk about today is winterizing the sprinklers and doing it yourself. I, as you can see, use a 6-gallon pancake compressor. The common misconception is that you need the large industrial compressors to do this, that all the professional landscapers own. But the reason that they use those is they can do a lot of quantity over a short amount of time, versus this is going to take a long time, and I'm going to have to do it zone by zone. But you know, I'm around for the day. I have a lot of stuff to do. I have projects, but first going to start with this. So kind of go through the steps of what I did. I went downstairs, first of all, turned off the valve that led to the pipe that goes to the backflow preventer, and then I came outside and I actually drained my backflow preventer. So a lot of people will just turn that off inside and not think, okay, the backflow is above ground. That's a little more suspect to freezing than the pipes that are in the ground. Soil temps right now are hovering around 47 degrees, so well above freezing. So you know, for probably a couple more weeks, you don't have the risk of your pipes freezing. So you do have time to get this done, but before, you know, in the interim, make sure you get that water out of this backflow if yours is above ground. So I did drain it out. Now there's no risk of that freezing up. And a couple of years ago, last year, I hired somebody to do this. They did come out too late, and I thought they were coming sooner. I didn't drain the backflow. It did burst, and then that was the first thing I had to do at the start of the year to get the sprinklers ready to go, was repair this. So want to avoid that, and I did the first step in getting all the water out. So what I did from there, I did hook up the adapter that I created, and I'll show you in this video how I built it. All right, before I get started blowing out the system, I got to create my adapter. So I'm going to be going through the backflow. I have a spigot on the backflow, so I'm going to be able to hook it up like I have a hose, and that's what this is for. So hose connector. Some people have backflows set up with a drain in the middle. So the pipe leading from the preventer down into the ground has a drain installed, where this piece would fit right into. So for some people, you might just need the coupler from the compressor, and there you go. That's your adapter to blow out the system. For me, I don't have that, so I'm gonna there we go. So I got my compressor all charged up, running it at about 40 to 50 psi, and ultimately you want to use right around that 40 psi mark. Because I do have a low volume compressor, I can bump it up a little bit higher. There is going to be a loss of pressure when it goes through the line, so if you have a little bit more, I'm running it at 50, it's going to allow it to really push that water out and get it out into the heads. So once that got charged up, I came over, I opened my spigot valve. That allowed air to go into the backflow and then up into the sprinkler pipe. Eventually somewhere it did run into water. So then it's gonna stop, it's gonna start to charge up again and build that pressure again. Once it did that, I have already done 2 zones. I went over to my first valve in the valve box. I twisted the solenoid. They do say about 1/4 of a turn, but it's 1/4 of a turn once you get to that first release of pressure. So I turned it, you can listen for it, you hear the pressure go through the line of the air. Once you hear that, you give it another 1/4 turn and it goes out to the heads. You're going to immediately see a stream of water come out because there is water in the line. So the sprinklers are going to look like they're functioning normally. You let that run, eventually you are going to start to see a mist, usually in the heads closer to the valve. You're going to see that mist first. The furthest head away, you're still going to see water for quite some, probably the first full cycle. Once you start to see a reduction in what's coming out, you can close that valve back up and let this charge back up again. You can either move to the next valve or run through that same valve again. I did, for those first 2, I did each one 3 times. The reason for that is you don't get all the water out at once. The ultimate goal is that you see a mist come out of the heads. So you're gonna run through it once, run through it a second time. You'll see less water come out of that last head, and it'll start to come to a mist, but you'll still probably see a little stream of water, and then on that 3rd time you should start to see nothing but mist. The ultimate goal is that you have mist coming out of the heads. Once you have mist coming out of the heads, you've forced enough water out of the line that it's going to be safe for the winter. It's near impossible to get all of the water out, but there's enough room in there for expansion. So the pipes should be fine. If there is any water in and it freezes, it has plenty of room to expand, and then in the spring you turn your sprinklers back on and they're ready to run. If you don't do it enough or get enough water out, you risk expansion, pipes breaking, heads breaking, and then in the spring the first thing you're doing is digging up your grass when you just want to be turning the system on. So we'll go through each zone. I have 7 zones. I have 4 valves right here. On the other side of my driveway, I do have a 5th valve. And then from my previous video, when I installed the last of the sprinkler system, I have those 2 valves in the backyard. So those will be the last ones I get. I will say those may need 1 additional cycle each. That is the furthest run away from the compressor, so it's going to be moving a lot of air a long distance. So just to make sure that I do get everything out, I might run it 1 extra time. But that last time might just be a quick, just to reassure myself that I did get all the water out, and go from there. So very easy to do. Like I said, the biggest thing is time. So if you don't have time, it's not ideal for an ideal project for you, and it probably is better to just hire somebody. But if you're a true DIYer and you want to do it yourself, and you have other projects to do while you're while the compressor's charging up, then by all means go at it. All right, let's get to it. I am on the last zone. I'm going to run it through one more time. So all 7 zones are going to be done, and each zone I ran through 3 times. This one I'm actually running through 4 times. Same with the the zone up top. And the reason for that is these are the furthest run of pipe. So on the last time, which was the third time through the zone, I looked at the furthest head away and there was still a stream of water coming out of it. So I'm not entirely comfortable with the amount of water that's been pushed out. I want to run it through one more time, get that mist, and then be done. Like I said, this is time consuming, but I haven't been 100% focused on this the whole time. I've been working on cleaning up the yard a little bit to get ready for mowing. There were a lot of sticks, some still left, but I want to get this run, get this buttoned up, and then check off this project for the weekend. But pretty easy, I mean, and you saw my compressor. It's a very tiny 6-gallon pancake compressor. You don't need a huge compressor that's going to take up a lot of space. And then that I'm going to be able to use for a lot of stuff around the house. You know, filling up tires, things like that. So I'll run this, and then if you focus right here, there is going to be a head that pops up, and I'll just give you an idea of the mist that you're looking for, and what you're trying to get to before you can mark it complete. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm glad I did it. I can see the head from here, but it did have another stream of water coming out of it, and now it's a fine mist. So I've gotten it to the point where I'm comfortable that it is fully winterized, and there's enough water out of the lines that when it freezes, it's not going to be an issue. So yeah, I'm going to close this up. I'll get everything disconnected, put away, get the valve boxes back on, and we're done. All right, enjoy.